Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? Artwod is the best platform in the world to teach you how to draw from imagination, where they give you the work, not the shortcut, work that lets you draw like this after 3 years and 8 months of practice, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my practice to prove that anybody, especially you, can draw. Granted, you focus on the right things, which are the fundamentals, and there are right things to focus on, right? I'll fucking die on that hill. I mean, this channel will prove that there are right things to focus on. But everybody, again, especially you, is capable of focusing and putting in the one thing that you have control over to achieve, if achievement is your goal, the effort, right? So get your pen, get your paper, and draw along with me, right? Give me your attention, mute my ass, keep me on the background, give me that gluck, gluck, gluck. Oh, fuck. I'm supposed to gluck, gluck when it comes to artwod, not for money. Technically, you can suck dick for money. But anyways, there are many wenches, right, that have proven that. I mean, what's it called? I don't know if that was a good joke, right? It didn't really roll off the tongue. There's no lole there. Anyways, what am I doing? We're doing the artwod portrait roadmap. I'm looking at a portrait reference, and then I'm trying to fucking visualize this fuckery, right? This schema, the box, the box, the scene. Sorry, the box, the invisible box, the invisible planes inside the box, right? The seen-through planes. Right, the diagonal cross sections inside the visible and visible planes, right? The center planes that attach the three center planes that intersect within the box, the ellipses that are also inside those three center planes individually, and then the sphere that connects them. Basically, this box, you know, there's a box right there, you see through it, and then you see every single fucking diagonal cross section like so, right? Visible and invisible, and then there's the three center planes, right? And then there's an ellipse, and then, well, before you know it, there's a sphere, right? So yeah, there you go. That should have helped. But anyways, the whole point of this is to improve my geometric spatial reasoning, build a foundation, right? Build my ability to create a mental simulation in my mind, which will be the foundation, as you can see, for the portrait. Like this, the face, whatever the fuck this is a byproduct of this, what I'm trying to visualize. So yeah, like I've already started. I'm looking at the portrait reference. I'm trying to keep it in mind. I'm looking, and again, we're doing interleaving, right? So, oh shit, I can actually see the fucking box pretty well. It's a bit incorrect, right? It's a bit too, we see the top a bit too much. It's supposed to be more like this. It's actually very subtle if I look at it correctly, right? The box is something like this, right? But this is the perspective that I'm trying to see, and I'm trying to see through the box and see the diagonal cross sections inside that box, right? But I've already started and I just lost it again. But again, I'm really fucking struggling to visualize. And actually, I think her face is tilted a little bit. I think her face is actually tilted a little bit, right? So it might be something like this instead. Something like that instead. But yeah, please get your pen, get your paper, draw along. Right? Give me your attention, but more than anything, let us hold each other accountable. Body doubling. Oh, by the way, I didn't want to draw today at all, right? Like I do. Please tell me if this sounds familiar. You spend the entire day thinking about drawing and be like, I can't wait to draw, right? But you do the other shit you gotta do, whatever. Or maybe you don't do anything and fucking just jerking off, right? Either way. And then when it's time to draw, like the fucking 20 minutes leading up to drawing, 30 minutes, you're like, I don't want to draw. But my brain is already in extreme cognitive discomfort. Okay, is this the pen that's good or bad? Fuck, I can't tell anymore, because I can't have the pen that's good. No, that's the good pen. What I mean by good is like actually has ink flow. I use a pen that's dead because for some reason I guess it's just more comfortable to uncap the pen while I essentially just mentally masturbate over the invisible lines, right? But either way, right? Again, and this is very difficult, but I'm using recall. I'm forcing my brain to recreate this schema, right? To visualize the box, and I'm trying to hold it all down. I'm trying to hold it all in perspective, trying to get this diagonal, the top diagonal cross section, bottom diagonal cross section, right? The back one, invisible back plane here, visible back plane, visible front plane, visible front plane, and I'm trying to hold it all in my mind and visualize it. While it's actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like this isn't perfect by any means, but the fact that I can even like conceptualize this and it isn't breaking my brain, that is a huge win for me. Like that is genuinely a huge win. So what do we do next to break our brains? We see the center planes, right? We make things more difficult by seeing the center planes, and I am just fucking astounded that I'm actually capable of doing this right now without losing it. Well, I did lose it quite a bit there, but I'm just trying to, dude, like the fact that I can at least see one of the center planes right here, like right here, the center plane that's going through this diagonal cross section is a fucking, like, it's incredible how I'm seeing this. I actually don't I do know how, actually, because I'm recalling, I'm using the power of interleaving, which is spacing the repetition and forcing my brain to recall in order to strengthen the neuronal connection, if that's a fucking word, right? The neurons, the fucking myelation, synaptic cleft, fucking the sheath, right? Butthole. I made that joke last time, but it's okay. That was at the end of the video. This is at the beginning. Nobody watches the end. But anyways, and I'm just gonna try to, and the whole point is to just keep trying to lean into it and get the right box as well, right? I want the right box, but yeah, it is a bit tilted, right? It is a bit tilted, and we do see a good amount of the side of our face, but maybe not as much as I think. I think this is the box, right? I guess let me draw it here. I think this, and this tilt could be incorrect, right? But I think this is the box, and that's the tilt, and then this is the ear line, right? I think this is the box, perhaps. Right, so this is what I'm visualizing through, like so. That seems pretty accurate. That actually seems pretty good. This box, I now know why the sphere was so wide, like why it was basically like an oval, right? Instead of being a sphere, a perfect circle, right? Because this front plane was way too wide. And actually, more than anything, the front plane's fine, but the point is, like, these two planes in conjunction were too wide. Like, this is a very wide box. So that's just incorrect. That's just incorrect. But anyways, back to visualizing the box at hand. And this is incredible. The fact that I'm literally visualizing this tilt accurately, and I'm seeing the invisible X, invisible Y, invisible Z, and then if I really focus, I see this, again, visible X, visible Y, visible X, and visible Z. Right, it needs to be a bit more further out. And now I can just hold it. I'm seeing this diagonal cross section. It's not clear, by the way. It's like 60% clear. This diagonal cross section, right? Visible, invisible, invisible. This diagonal cross section is the visible. This is the invisible, right? And then this visible diagonal cross section. And now to hold that, and by the way, like the box, it has changed. It went from being tilted this way to this way. And that's normal, by the way. That's very normal, right? Again, I hope me constantly thinking out loud and letting you know, being an observer to my own learning and being as articulate and explicit as I can, that I'm holding these multiple items in my mind, in my working memory, and that it's purely just a cognitive endurance quotient, right? Cognitive endurance ability, right? And to constantly lose the perspective. I hope it really helps you understand that, oh shit, so it's normal that I keep losing it. I just have to keep trying to hold it, right? And then we're gonna rest our brains after this, of course. Like, that is crucial to learning. And what am I doing? I'm just constantly forcing myself to feel good, right? Like, I'm just attaching dopamine to the errors, right? What does that mean? So like when I make the mistake that I can't see this bottom plane and this bottom plane, and I can't really, and my mind is essentially diverging the bottom plane like this, the bottom invisible plane like that, when it should be something way more narrow like this. This is what my mind saw and calculated. This is the reality, right? Like my mind basically, like if this is the bottom plane, invisible one, my mind saw something like this, right? Like completely fucking retarded, went all over the place, doesn't really make sense. And that's normal. So I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And then we continue, right? And yeah, dude, holy shit, interleaving works. I'm literally able to visualize the box and the diagonal cross sections well enough that I can actually start integrating, visualizing these three center planes intersected inside the box before I even put down the box. And for anybody who followed my 130 fucking hour / part journey, which none of you did, but if TLDR, right, that is something that was such a huge roadblock for the longest time, right? Is really being unable to visualize anything without the actually box being drawn. Now I'm at a point, and especially because of interleaving. Interleaving is basically when you're practicing a skill, right? And you're practicing that skill in different contexts, right? So for example, that's why I started doing it properly, because I didn't know I wasn't doing it properly. But before I was just doing this, but this was actually making my brain lazy, and like it was finding shortcuts, because it was, even though I was changing the angle and I thought I was interleaving because I was changing the angle of the subject, of like the mental simulation and the mental model that I was practicing, the actual proper application of interleaving is what I'm doing now, which is I'm literally visualizing the box and the diagonal cross sections and everything, but I'm applying it to figures, hands, and challenge 52 simple forms, right? And then on top of that, when I go back to this, it's like 80 hours basically in between going back to, or maybe even like 80 to 90 hours between doing like any session, right? Any given session, whether it's portraits, whether it's anything. When I go back to it, my brain strengthens that connection because it's being forced to recall and what's it called? Recall and rely upon those pre-existing connections, and recalling strengthens it, right? And because I'm changing the angle, that is also making it more difficult and forcing my brain to consolidate and internalize a mental model that is not based on shortcuts and 2D graphic shapes, but 3D existing simulated geometry, like geometric spatial reasoning. That's the best way I can say it. But yeah, I said TLDR, but then I gave you like a paragraph. But actual TLDR is I thought I was doing it. I thought I was changing the angle interleaving well, but I done did it better. I done did it better, and now I see things that you can't even fathom. Except you can fathom it because I'm explaining it very articulately because I'm a god. So please rest your brain. And another mistake I was making with my learning, right? Because I want to be like super transparent, and this is a living archive of skill acquisition, of neuroplasticity, of the road to mastery, right? So in retrospect, every word I say will have like 100 fucking thousand times the weight that it has now, because 30 years from now, when I do have masterful quote unquote skills, right? These words will be the most important. Like, what was it? Because I will forget. There's a reason I made that this is a video for beginner artist video, because I will forget, right? Like, I will forget the exact experience that I'm going through. So what am I going through right now, right? What I'm going through is always wanting to be in extreme cognitive discomfort. But either way, like while I'm trying to think about the box and I'm trying to see through the form, right? I'm trying to think about the box, I'm trying to see through the form, I'm trying to see the front plane at the accurate width and the side plane at the accurate width in order to create a sphere that is a perfect sphere, right? Like even within the box in of itself, right? I'm also trying to think about the front plane, I'm trying to see through the box, I'm trying to see the diagonal cross sections. Like while I'm trying to think about all of that and talking about something completely unrelated, right? So let me talk about that completely unrelated thing, but let it be known while I'm talking about it, I'm constantly striving to be in as much cognitive friction as possible, and this is also very difficult for my brain to have one line of thought completely unrelated to the other line of thought while still speaking. Like my parietal lobe is being used for the narration, but my prefrontal cortex is being absolutely taxed and taking all the glycogen stores in my brain to try to just even fathom what I'm visualizing while I'm talking about something completely unrelated. Talking and drawing, extremely difficult. Talking about something completely unrelated while drawing, even more difficult, right? And that is not muscle memory for me yet. That is a willful application of effort, right? So let me tell you about the mistakes I've been making while I did this 130-hour bout, essentially, over the past fucking 4 months, 5 months, right? 6 months, yes, five and a half months of drawing, right? The mistake that I made was the fact that, and I'm struggling a lot to think right now, but the mistake that I made was the fact that I wasn't changing the... And by the way, mistakes are normal. Like, you will always figure out a quote-unquote better system for your learning. Like, I want to be very clear, right? And by the way, like, I'm fucking struggling so much to see through this form right now, but it's getting there. It's getting slowly better. I can see, and I'm zoomed out too. I'm explicitly, intentionally trying to zoom out, right? Because what do I mean by zoom out? I'm not looking here because I just want to see this visible line. I'm vaguely trying to just look at this general direction while calculating the entirety of the box and the visible and the invisible planes and the diagonal cross sections, right? And that is very difficult, right? And I think the diagonal I'm making is way too much, so it needs to be more subtle. Yeah, there you go. That's a lot better. That's a lot better, right? I was doing this, it's more like this, right? And if you can't tell that's a diagonal, well, here's a more straight line. Hopefully you can tell that's a diagonal now, right? And that just means your eye needs work, which is great. But the mistake that I was making is the fact that I wasn't changing the context of what I was learning, right? Like, again, for example, right? The context now is the fact that when I draw hands or when I draw figures, I still visualize a box seen through with all the diagonal cross sections, right? But it is being applied to a different context with the fact with hands it's being applied to different ratios, different proportions, different manipulated shapes, right? Oh, and another thing, right, is like I was doing only pure depth, like pure mental depth training, pure spatial reasoning mental depth training, right? And that, oh, by the way, I'm visualizing the center plane now, which is crazy because I never thought I'd be able to do that to the degree that I am, right? But either way, like this is still too obvious. My brain is creating an angle like this when the subtlety needs to be more like this again, right? And that is very difficult. That is extremely difficult. Like this is the subtlety we are trying to make, right? And then obviously the ellipses will be going through here, something like that. And then this is the sphere. And see, that's already more of a perfect circle, even with this half-assed rendition that I just made, right? So like I'm constantly trying to like essentially brute force my brain. Oh, that was a mark, was a mistake. I'm trying to brute force my brain to see to fix these mistakes. But even then, the fact that I'm able to do this better is purely because of interleaving, right? And again, I can see this diagonal cross section. I can see this very subtle diagonal cross section. I can see this one. I can see this. That was the invisible. This is the visible. This is the visible. This is the invisible, right? This is the invisible. And the fact that and the fact that it's staying like it's still tilted a little bit because again, when my eyes do drift down to see this invisible and then this visible, whatever the fuck, right? The box does tilt from like slightly here to slightly there. That is an error, and I feel good about that, right? So my goal is always to be an extreme cognitive friction, and I know I'm all over the place in terms of what I'm trying to explain, but that's because I'm trying to articulate what I'm experiencing in terms of the practice, while also trying to tell not a story, but explain my practice in of itself, but in a completely different context, i.e. the past, right? So what I was doing is I was doing pure mental calculations, which is great, but I was not practicing applying them at speed, right? Which is what all those other three parts are now: the figures, the challenge 52, and the hands, right? Because that is training my mind to compartmentalize and efficiently consolidate this intensive math, like the basic. For me, basic, right? For you, basic might still just be like the visible planes of the box, right? But for me, basic now is the visible, invisible, and diagonal cross sections of every visible and invisible plane. So that is basic math for me now, right? Basic geometric math. Like I don't know how much of this is actually math or not, but whatever. Like it's technically like it's angle, so I guess it's math, right? But it was my brain trying to consolidate. Like I'm using those. My brain wasn't being able to consolidate them because I was just practicing doing it super slowly all the time. But you need to practice being able to calculate it fast, and that is actually bleeding over perfectly. That's why I'm able to even visualize this faster and to hold it faster, is because I have been brute forcing my brain to apply fast, not zoom out fast, not look at the line, and still calculate a general idea to the best of my ability, as accurately as I can, the calculation. And this is where errors and like consolidating errors comes into play, like attaching dopamine to errors, is because I know I'm making mistakes. I know if I had more time, I'd be able to do it properly, but because I can't, have to force my brain to calculate it correctly while doing it fast. And now I'm at a point where now I can literally visualize it faster and see this entire box faster, and I'm still making bare mistakes, fam. Bare mistakes, fam. But I don't know. It's a Toronto man thing, because we all say the T at the end, right? But either way, and now I just need to think about the fact that I can even see this this center plane is insane to me. Like that, and this horizontal center plane, right? Like that was actually off, and the fact that I'm getting it relatively correct is fucking insane to me. And I can't hold all three of them at the same time, but I can try, right? I can why I said try like that, but and like again, this center plane is like drifting down here. This box is tilting a bit too much, but it's very difficult. But anyways, that was still a good bout. I'll do one more of that because now I'm actually capable of holding more information in my head and calculating, projecting, and visualizing more information onto the page and in my head combination, right? We all calculate and visualize differently, but I'm able to do that more, so I want to really lean into that and try to see the three center planes before I put the box down, right? But what I'm trying to say is like my practice before was pure depth, and I was losing out on mileage, like literally line mileage, right? Which then the motor skills being lost, and as well as speed of calculation, right? Because I was giving myself the liberty to really take the time to visualize and see everything, and that has merit. This creates depth, this creates genuine understanding of space, right? To a more depth, to a more detailed degree. But the additional interleaved practices where the same concept of the box, the seen-through box in different sizes, different shapes, different proportions, are now containing the new subject at hand, which is figures, challenge 52 simple forms, and hands, are expediting the process of me calculating these basic geometric like calculating the basic geometric calculations at a faster speed, because I don't have the liberty to take my time to think. Therefore, I simply attach dopamine to errors as they are occurring at a much faster rate, and forcing my brain to actually get the accurate calculations faster, right? So hopefully that makes sense. They feed into each other. They feed into each other. This session creates better understanding and better depth and more technical accuracy into the faster sessions, which again create more technical accuracy via speed, which goes back to this session where then I can see it faster too and calculate it faster. It's like a very beautiful feedback loop, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But that's what my practice was missing in terms of like actually interleaving. And this is great because now I have a wider array of topics I can practice. It's still all based on geometric spatial reasoning, like the simple box and just and the skill of zooming out and just seeing even more, because I have to hold a figure now with that is aligned with like these center points and shit. So the box has to be literally like this big, right? Like from here to here if it's angled this way, or like here to there. Like this is supposed to be large now, right? And I don't know why I'm so aggressively putting my hand like this, but I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, right? I need to slow down my speech, but I never will. And what I said in my intro video is gonna go to shit, right? Oh, I'm planning on using this channel to improve my speaking. Never, right? I'm adamant. I cannot learn. I am dumb, right? At least when it comes to what I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn how to speak slowly, right? I articulate so beautifully. But my smooth brain aside, I don't have any funny joke for any of this. In fact, I think I am the joke. But self-deprecation aside, because I have nothing to say. I don't know, where am I going with this, bro? My brain's tired. Rest your brain, Jesus Christ. Fucking, please don't judge me. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm a god. Okay, anyway, just fucking enough. Just rest your brain. Holy shit. Another thing I have to keep reminding myself to do is when I look at the portrait reference to encompass the box holistically. And what I mean by, let me drink some water actually before I continue talking. And what I mean by that is because I am looking at the portrait reference, right? So I have to when I look at this woman, like I have to see her head, right, up until like relatively the nose area. I have to see it as a sphere. So like the side of her head, I can't just take as the side of the box. I have to see it as a sphere, and then I have to be like, okay, now where? Because her eye line's like the middle, right? The eyebrow line. If this is the box, the front plane, this is the eyebrow line. So I have to internalize that, and then I have to look at her face and be like, okay, so that means the box is roughly, it's like right around here, right? Like this is roughly where the box. But that's wrong. That's wrong. See, I'm already fucking it up, right? Because the box has to encompass the entire plane, the entire sphere, right? So I have to be like, okay, so this is roughly what I think her head is like something like that, right? But that is also wrong. But you see how difficult that is? Like I have to actively look at her and be like, where is the box in conjunction with her head, right? And where is the angle in conjunction with her head, right? Like, and I do still think it's this slight angle. Like, okay, again, this is straight. This is the slight angle. This is straight. Hopefully you can be seen on the camera. Like this is straight. This is the slight angle, right? So this is straight and roughly like, not, that's too much, right? This is the subtle angle roughly that her head is tilted at, right? But the other, yeah, that's a really difficult thing to do, is like to see this woman's and like I also have to understand what part, like how wide the front plane is. Oh god. Oh god. I fucking jizz in my throat. But anyways, like I have to see how far like the angles of the planes of the front side of her face and the side of her face. And from what I can tell, right? From what I can tell, they're relatively even, no? Like they're relatively even. Are we actually seeing more of the side of her face? It's hard to tell, man. It's really hard to tell. This is why faces are so beautifully difficult, because it's genuinely hard to fucking tell, like, what the hell is going on. Like, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But either way, we're just gonna visualize to the best of our ability, right? We're just gonna, and I'm gonna do my best not to make this mistake, right? But again, I'm trying to visualize, see through the form. And again, let me just try to think, like, that is a pretty much a perfect sphere, right? Because I'm at a point now where I can vaguely understand, like, the placement of the sphere, where it would be, right? And obviously, like, this, I still made a couple mistakes with the sphere. Like, that is more accurate. Because I have to remember that just because we, like, I keep thinking that the sphere is perfectly closing around these ellipses, but it's still a three-dimensional volume, so there's still depth to it, right? Like, it doesn't just go from one edge of the ellipse to another edge of the ellipse. Like, that's not how it works, right? If we have three ellipses that are like this, right? Like 1, 2, and then 3, right? The ellipse, the sphere, is still a three-dimensional form. You know, like, yeah, it's meeting them, but I have to understand that in any context, like, there's like a bunch of contours that are occurring, and I have to understand that as well. This might be going over your head because it's fucking going over my head, but like, the point is I have to constantly keep thinking about the space. The space is not a word. The space, what a fucking surprise. But anyways, back to fucking visualizing, thinking extremely about the box, right? I'm seeing the diagonal cross section, diagonal cross section, diagonal cross section, visible, invisible, visible, invisible, fucking visible, invisible, right? And it's down here right now, so I should bring it up there. And the fact that I can do that better is still mind-boggling to me, but interleaving works. Like, interleaving literally works, right? Like, it literally fucking works, which is crazy. But it's still very difficult because I'm still losing it a lot, right? I'm still losing it a lot, but I'm trying to hold it, and now I'm trying to see the three center planes, right? And again, I'm trying to, like, really get her head down properly, but but the more important thing, more than anything, is like, I don't want to. And again, I have like a warm, like, a warm and slight pressure on my forehead from all the thinking that I'm doing, right? Like, my working memory is still being absolutely taxed, right? And this is, again, Z, X, Y, right? Visible, and then invisible, X, Y, Z, right? But that's too much. Again, I'm making the angle too top down, like this, right? So again, it has to be very subtle, and that is difficult. Again, like, anything that is new is cognitive effort. I want to say that again, because anything that is new and has not been consolidated takes excess amount of cognitive effort. How much excess? Probably dozens of hours, right? And that number just sounds like a number, like, ah, yes, dozens of hours, but that's a month of your life. That's a month of your life if you do what I do, which is 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, roughly, right? But that's a month of your life, so it'll take a month for just one thing to improve, right? And that's a good thing. I always like to clarify, like, that's a good thing. I don't say these numbers to scare or to intimidate. I say it to humble, ground, and actually inspire us to be like, it just takes time. So you're telling me if I just keep fucking trying on things that have the highest return on investment, right, and learn to enjoy the effort and attach dopamine to it, then time will literally do the rest. And it doesn't matter that today I didn't feel like drawing, and it doesn't matter that I was worried, and like, because I do have worries. Like, I do worry all the fucking, not worry, but like, I do get concerned that it's like, hey, will I ever be even half as good as I want to be? And holy shit, I can see the three plane intersections. Holy fuck, I need to hold this 1 second. I can actually see, at least I see two of the planes. And they're gone, by the way, they're gone. Like, when I say I see them, like, I can see the semblance of an idea of them, right? But I'm trying to see the entire box and the diagonal cross sections. I'm trying to see the three center planes, and they're barely there. It's all fucking jumbled here now, but I can see I can visualize and calculate the idea that they are, right? And it's going away, and my brain, this is like, again, my brain is in extreme output regression. Lots of cognitive effort is constantly being expended, right? Genuinely, lots of cognitive effort is constantly being expended, but I'm trying to see the three center planes to the best of my ability. Like this one right here. Holy shit. And then this one, this horizontal one, right? Oof. And then this vertical one as well. And that one's wrong. So like, I'm trying to hold the other two as well as I can, but oh my god. And I'm just trying to hold the box. I see every single diagonal cross section, right? Okay. Holy shit. But dude, every fucking day, obviously, I'm not like, oh my god, my life's over, but I do think it's just these random thoughts, and they're intrusive, and honestly, there's no point thinking about them because they're thoughts, right? Much like yourself, but it's it is normal to wonder whether you will achieve, right? Because achievement, as much as we like to say, is not the end goal. It is something that our brains will fixate on, and it takes conscious effort to recenter it back to the effort, right? Which is what I always do. Like right now, like that was amazing. Like that was amazing. Like that, I tried so hard to calculate. The fact that I'm at a point where my brain doesn't combust and I can actually start visualizing the center planes while holding the box with the seen through box with all the diagonal cross sections. Bro, like you'll just have to take my word for it, because obviously I'll be getting better and better as time goes on, which is just par for the course, right? But like, yeah, like this is why I try to explain exactly what I'm thinking. So if you go back to part 4 of portraits, or like part 50 of portraits, you'll be like, oh god, I can't fucking understand this, and you'll be like, wait, that was so much more basic than what he's trying to do now. And then you come here to part 146, I think, right? Or 45, I don't know, maybe 47, I don't know. Fuck, we might be almost close to 50. I don't fucking know what part this is. But ever since I started like properly interleaving, it's not as if I know exactly what part I'm at, right? But it is incredible how I can understand so much more, right? Like, again, the fact that many artists just say, I wish you could see what I see, that just means what they're saying is, I wish you put in as many hours to see what I see. And we're all capable of that. We're all fucking capable of that, right? And it's not just about the hours, it's about intentional hours. Again, 1 hour of deep work is greater than 10 hours of shit work, right? Like shallow work. I like my version better. But yeah, anyways, please rest your brain, right? Let's rest our brains. But I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to, because I'm so fucking good at speaking, right? But I will do my best to articulate and to continue to explain my thought process and the cognitive discomfort, the cognitive friction, the calculations, the inability to retrieve, to recall, and to see anything, right, as consistently as possible. I will try to explain that as well as I can. So it's just constantly keeps honing in that it's just effort and feeling good about the effort and doing our best to understand and just keep trying, right? Because that's something every single one of us is capable of doing, is to just keep trying, right? Especially you, hashtag Big Inspires. And anyways, rest your brain. All right, cool. That was a really good rest. Oh, it's been half an hour. Okay, cool. Might be time to draw the box. Might be time to draw the box, right? So let's get the good pen and start drawing the box, right? But again, like this is the skill that I've been practicing. So this is the skill I need to continually visualize, right? Which is seeing the box. I mean, I need to zoom out. What I need to do right now, so I want to be obviously like, again, explicit, articulate, right? But anyways, I need to like, what I'm trying to do is I'm literally trying to see the entire box right now. And we'll start with the top, because the top is obviously what I struggle with the most. So it's better to try to apply and visualize to the part that we struggle with. I could be wrong, but I do think that doing it like such would help. And again, my line's getting worse, as you can see, because I'm not good at drawing from this angle, right? And that's already wrong. Like this is already, this box is already wrong because I made the angle incorrect. That's tilted too much, right? But we just have to commit now, right? I just have to commit. It is wrong. Do you see this? After all that fucking mental work, right? That thinking, that constantly trying to see is like, I literally just drew the wrong line. And now this entire perspective has been shifted. Right, this entire perspective has been shifted. I'm still trying to save it by putting in that little bit of that angle that I mentioned, but it is gone to shit in that sense, right? But now I'm trying to think like, what is the right ratio for the length of this this plane, but either way, I'm just trying to think right now. I'm just trying to think. I think maybe I will converge it, not drastically, but just a little bit, just a little bit, right? Just to get some, I guess, quote unquote natural. See, that was wrong too, because that line not only was incorrect, but my convergence could have been better too. Whew. Oh, this is really taxing on my brain because I'm still by the way, I'm still zooming out and looking at the box, and this is not a good cube. I think I should have made this wider. This side plane, I think, definitely should have been wider, because if I make the ellipse here and I make the ellipse here, and then I make the ellipse here, right? Like this sphere is not a perfect sphere, I don't think, right? Again, what I mean is, like, by the ellipse, I mean I see this center plane, right? And I see this center plane, right? And then I see this center plane, this horizontal center plane. Probably should start from the back. And then if I put the ellipses there, right? Put the ellipses there, it will not result in a perfect sphere because it is too narrow, I believe. I could be wrong, but it is opportune. It is a good opportunity to be wrong. And by the way, my speech is very stilted because I'm trying to visualize all of this. Like, I've taken a step back to make these beautiful mistakes because I can't see the center plane properly, right? But I'm taking a step back to see what I am trying to understand, which is this ellipse right around here, right? And then this ellipse in the middle for this center plane right around here. Here, why do I say here like that? Nobody fucking knows, but I do say it like that. And then I'm trying to think about the sphere, what the fuck, the sphere. And maybe it'll be okay. Maybe the sphere will be okay. Let me commit. I've already made the mistake, so might as well just commit to the mistake and visualize and draw as appropriately as I can while zooming out and trying to think about the multiple axes. Axi? Fucking gay? Who knows, right? Who knows? But either way, now I am just consistently visualizing, and now, like, I'm just straight up going into seeing the diagonal cross section, diagonal cross section, diagonal cross section, diagonal cross section, this one back here, this one over here, and then trying to see the center plane. So this center plane, other way, right? Because again, I'm explicitly only ever trying to see the invisible sides to keep my understanding of volume sharp, right? And thought about. And then this center plane, again, all these center planes are going through. What's happening when I'm seeing these center planes? For any given plane, by the way, for any given plane, for any given plane, when I'm trying to think about the center plane, right? For example, okay, fuck it, we'll just draw the box again so you can actually get an idea, right? But and this is why I try to go the invisible side, right? Because for any given plane, let's say this is a horizontal one, I'm trying to think about this, and I'm immediately trying to think about it going through this line before I'd be like, okay, it's also going through this, and then it's going through this center point of these diagonal cross sections. Like, that is what I'm trying to constantly, and my eyes are fucking warm, man, it's beautiful, but that's constantly what I'm trying to think about, right? But I really am gonna push my fucking brain to try to think about not only every single diagonal cross section and the center planes, but also the ellipses, right? Because what is the ellipse? Like, I'm forcing myself to think about ellipses geometrically. So if we have a plane like that, right, and we have this and we have this, right, and that's obviously based on these diagonal cross sections. What it is we have the perfect curve. Like, it's a perfect curve meeting at the edges that's curving in to make the ellipse, right? It's something like this, and these two are usually mirrored. Like, the opposite ones are usually mirrored, right? Because that's how like the opposite corners work. Like, I guess let me give another example. And these very narrow ones are very difficult for me still, right? But if we have an ellipse, right? So this is curving like so. And it, by the way, it takes a lot of effort to get that curvature down correctly. Like, because in the beginning, what it was like something like this, right? Or I'd be like, or I'd be like where this started off in like a bit more of a subtle curve, but then this one like this. I can't even do it fucking incorrectly anymore, bro. God damn it, this is the worst part about getting better, right? When you're trying to be like, this is how you can be shit, or this is how you can do it wrong. But for context, like, and then this is obviously curving in this way, but. What I'm trying to say is in the beginning, trying to understand, like my curves could be anywhere from like it's going wide here and then short here to being like it's short here and then wide there, right? Like the point I'm trying to make is like it took me hundreds of repetitions to internalize and understand just how to connect this point to this point as an appropriate geometrically as an appropriate curve. And I don't know how to explain it apart from just saying it's a fuck ton of repetitions to try to get that down. But just know that in the beginning, like if it was like this, right, and then this was obviously the connection, right, like what we have here, this is just a zoom, another version of that, right, I basically would do something like this, where I would go all the way at the edge, and then I'd go around like that, and I'd fuck it up, or I'd go all the way, or wouldn't go all the way at the edge, I'd go straight here, I'd be like this, and then I'd go like super fast and inwards. And that's normal. That's all very, very, very normal, right? Because the mistakes, the most important thing is like you do your best to understand what the correct thing is, right? And that's what I'm trying to do now. Like I'm doing my best to understand what the correct spatially reasoned ellipse is, right? So even when my fingers make the mistake that they are making right now, I can just attach dopamine to it, right? So that's one ellipse, and then we have the other ellipse right around here, right? And then we have this horizontal ellipse, and I already lost the first one, but I'm trying to hold the second one, and then now we have the horizontal ellipse right around there. And that was a beautiful mistake, so let me try that again. Horizontal ellipse, and these very narrow ones always fuck me up. Always fuck me up. And then that is how we can get the sphere. It's not bad. It's not a perfect circle, but it's okay, right? So I'm just gonna, again, really lean in and try to, oh, fuck, this is a good pen. Let me get rid of this shit, bro. I don't want this thing drying out. But yeah, I have a heavy pressure on my forehead. My eyes are fucking warm, right? My speech is stilted because I'm literally like incapable of directing more than the 5 to 7 items in my brain that is supposedly being allocated to the spatial reasoning, but I'm brute forcing dozens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. And then another plane. 13, 14, 15. Okay, cool. And then the ellipses inside of it. 16, 17, 18. Okay, cool. Now the sphere. 19. Right? So I say dozens, it's more than that, because if you look at it as like individual lines, right? You can break down the planes into individual lines, because my brain, why did I say that so fast? Individual lines. Because my brain actually has not consolidated these units, right? These individual units, which is the line of this plane, line of here, and then it goes here, and then it goes here. That's a plane. The plane is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. But right now my brain is treating each single item as an individual unit. It has not chunked the information. Chunking is when your brain is consistently compressing the information accurately into a mental model that is easier to recall and rely on, right? Like right now, I have a pretty solid mental model of seeing through a visible box, and then seeing a visible box and then seeing through it and seeing the diagonal cross sections and like on every invisible and visible plane. Pretty reliable mental model on that, because I spent over 100 hours practicing it, if not 200 at this point, right? Like pretty fucking reliable mental model on that, right? But do I have a reliable mental model for seeing it all at once at the same time? No. So that is something that I'm constantly actively compressing or forcing my brain to think about, and that is where the sheer discomfort comes into play, right? So again, what am I thinking about right now? Before I rest my brain again, I'm going to force myself to see through the entire box, right? See this diagonal cross section, see this diagonal cross section, see this one, this blah, blah, blah. You get the point, right? I'm trying to see all of it at the same time, right? Even fathoming that is so difficult. Actually trying to do it, another level, right? And I'm in extreme discomfort, and I'm attaching dopamine to the discomfort because I'm making a lot of fucking mistakes. And now, while I'm already making mistakes and I'm losing this, I'm going to add the center planes, right? This center plane, and then this center plane. See, I almost had an inclination to go up this way. And again, the difficult part is while I'm adding these center planes, I still need to make sure that I see the diagonal cross sections, because once and in general, once I start adding the center planes, my brain immediately shuts off the diagonal cross sections and makes it intuitive, right? Like intuitively, I know the center point's right there, intuitively, right? But is it actually? Yeah, it's basically there, right? But that's the thing. Like, I want to not rely on intuition. I want to build a mental model, a mental simulation. I want to build a fucking blender simulation in my mind so robust that it serves as the foundation for the head, right? And that is why it'll be another 200 hours of portrait drawing, artwod portraits roadmap before you see me actually practice the individual features, such as the nose, right? Before I start doing this shit, or the lips, which is like, I think the lips is like, they're like, what would they refer to them as? Manipulated cylinders, right? And I'm still pretty mid. I don't know if I said mid like that. I was trying to say mediocre and then I said mid, but I'm still pretty mid at understanding organic forms. But anyways, trying to see the entire thing, trying to see these center planes, and it's holy shit, I actually see the center planes. Holy fuck, I need to hold this. I see the center planes, and then I see, now this is the difficult part because I see everything, and now I'm just trying to hold, get the ellipses. So I thought I saw it for a split second. It's gone now, right? But I did see everything, and I'm trying to get the ellipses to be calculated, right? So let's see, something like this, and then it goes here. This is the horizontal one, right? I'm trying to hold all of it in my mind at the same time, and then it goes all the way around again, right? And then that's the horizontal ellipse. I'm trying to hold everything in my mind. It's actually like decently working, but not really, right? Because the center planes are actually like slowly phasing through the box, right? And that is obviously something I'm actively, A, feeling good about, B, trying to bring it back. I'm putting an effort to put it back to where I believe to be the correct location based on my geometric spatial reasoning that I'm trying to visualize, right? And then now we need to get the two verticals in, right? So we need to get this one as well, right? And then we need to get this one as well, right over here. Okay, and now I'm trying to hold that, and now we're getting the sphere. Let me use my pen to try to what's it called? Fucking ghost it, right? And everything is gone, by the way. I can barely see the ellipses. That's exactly what I wanted. That was incredibly difficult. I felt amazing. That was liberating even, right? And yeah, dude, like the sessions are technically getting shorter. Like it's crazy. 46 minutes in. Usually I'd be like an hour in. So I've cut off 15 minutes of calculation. I've improved my calculation efficiency by 15 minutes is what I should be saying. Because we're 46 minutes in. Usually at this point, I'd still be practicing visualizing the center planes. But now I'm practicing visualizing through the box the center planes and the ellipses and the sphere. That is incredible. Interleaving works. It's fucking crazy. Like, I can believe it in the sense that I know I've always believed in the science and neuroscience and like all this shit's been tested, but I can't believe it because I'm experiencing it and it's like, what the fuck? Okay? Like, it's actually insane. Oh shit, my girlfriend's calling me. I'm sorry, my love. I am busy talking at a piece of paper and telling the audience to really, believe in self. Like, I'm being inspirational. Thank you. Also, Russian accent, not good. What's that Russian accent? Nobody knows, right? Ask Zoidberg. Why not Zoidberg, right? It's a all I'm gonna rest my brain. I have nothing else to say. I was gonna say something like, oh, it's all gone to shit. Believe in yourself. Hashtag Nikki, believe in yourself inspires. I don't know, man. I'm tired. I'm drowning, Tommy. Anyways, please rest your brain. Oh, okay. That was good. Oh, another thing. I hope that if anything, if there's anything this channel proves apart from a sheer mountain of irrefutable intentional volume, right? Apart from the obvious, which is the fact that I will be a goat, right? But apart from that, I hope this channel more than anything proves that you don't really have to be You can be complete dipshit like me is what I'm trying to say, and still have a serious effort and consistency be applied. Like you can be anybody as long as you have serious effort, directionally correct, intentional effort, right? Let's be very clear. Serious, directionally correct, intentional effort, right? Over a long period of time, and consistency, right? Like they all tie into each other. As long as you just have that and the mindset that you will figure it out, any of you, literally any of you, can become excellent. At the very least, excellent. It just comes down to also what you define as excellence, right? Like many would see what I define as excellence to be mastery, but I just define as excellence what I look up to, which is the GOATs, right? Which are my greats, because you may have different greats, but don't let your greats fool you into thinking that you can be like them or have skills akin to them without putting in the work. There's something very clear I want to address, and I always say this, right? It's like you are only as good as the work you have put in. The skills you deserve are the skills you have based on what you have done to get those skills, right? Like think about it this way, like would you give somebody, if somebody failed a test, right, would you blame the test or would you blame their ability to study and take the test? This might go into a different conversation. It's like, oh, but standardized tests don't really account for different learning styles. Yeah, shut the fuck up. The point is, right, no matter how flawed the system, right, people will always win within it. But guess what? Art is actually beautiful because there's no flawed system. The system is your mind, and your mind is neurobiology, right? Neuroscience. And everybody has the same, none of you, and I mean absolutely none of you, are exempt from sheer intentional repetitions, right? Acetylcholine, norepinephrine, and attaching dopamine to errors. Every single one of you are capable of taking advantage of these biological mechanisms that occur within our brain in order to expedite our learning. Every single one of you will benefit from the spacing effect. Every single one of you will benefit from micro gap effects of resting during your practice and resting after your practice, right? And interleaving, like, look, interleaving works. Like, you can only take my word for it, but I fucking see dimensions. I see dimensions so clearly compared to like the 130 hours I put in before, right? But those 130 hours were meaningful because they built the ability to do that now. Like, they exponentially expedited the process, right? Is that an alliteration? Maybe. But they exponentially expedited the process, yes. To me seeing, right? To me calculating, once I did start interleaving properly, right? So, absolutely, like, so what I'm trying to say is every single one of you are capable, but also none of you are above the work, right? Like, you really only deserve the skills that you have, right? If I draw something and I'm like, damn, it didn't turn out how I wanted or what I thought it would be, who do I blame? Who do I ascribe responsibility to apart from myself, right? And it's not about like what I want, it's about what I am. Like, what am I currently capable of? I can want to draw an incredible mech designed in multiple perspectives, right? Dynamic and part of a larger scene, right? I can want to do that, but can I do that? No, I can do what I currently can do. And you guys have seen, like, if you go to my fucking live streams, you'll see that I did a drawing similar to that, right? And that is all I'm capable of, but my standards are much higher than that. But I cannot say that, oh damn, I wish I was better. The answer is you will be better. Simply continue, right? You cannot wish yourself to be something you are not. You can only ascribe pride to what you've already accomplished, right? Maybe this is like I don't think this is too preachy. I think this is definitely very important, but I don't think it's not being said well, because my mind is like all over the place. I'm going from being like, you can do it, to fuck you, you're not better than the work, to like, you're only as good as the work you put. Like, there's like a lot of different things I'm saying, but this is what happens near the end of my sessions, right? My mind, I'm going crazy, man. My mind's just lost. I've lost it. But I think the point I was trying to make is, like, every single one of you are capable, right? Which is always the point I'm trying to make, right? No matter what. That's literally always the point I'm trying to make, right? Okay, so anyways, back to even if it doesn't sound like it, and especially because if it doesn't sound, and the fact that, like, yeah, you can be anybody is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can literally be anybody, right? And it's just about, like, anybody can put in the work, right? Right, and anybody can be somebody, you know, very deep, very, very deep, right? Like, look at Kim Jong-il. If you actually listen to, like, his interviews like, this guy was a goofball. Like, he was always saying stupid shit. Everybody, like, posthumously, everybody's only ever remembered him as a fun, lovable, goofy guy, right? His drawings were, like, to many people, fucked up, right? He would draw, like, extremely sexual scenes, extremely, like, violent scenes, right? Sexually violent scenes. He would draw a lot of, like, fucked up, like, violent shit in general, right? And I say fucked up, like, like, I don't give a shit. I thought his art was incredible, but I'm saying fucked up in the sense that, like, how people would have seen it. And he's been, like, quote unquote, attempted to be canceled because of the shit that he draws, right? Like, he draws a lot of nudity, a lot of women nude, like, and in very, like, sexually scenes and all that shit, right? And you know what he says? He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just like, I just draw what I want, you know? And he was like, and if he did not have the skills, you know that it would be a lot more, like, if he was like literally like fucking 1/100th of his skill set, because we have to go to like that ratio to like make him a decent amount worse, right? But if he did not have his skills, it would not be like as exempt as he was, right? But the point I'm trying to make is, like, he was just a random dickhead who had, to his own abilities, extremely perverted fantasies, right? But he also just simply had an obsession, and I say simply very like very not lightly, but very just literally as plain up as, like, he simply was just obsessed with translating the world into drawings, into line, into shadows, right? He was just obsessed. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm still thinking about the diagonal cross sections. It's much more difficult because obviously, like, I don't even know what the fuck my conversation's going, so I need to go back to thinking, right? But it's a bit of a fucking like all over the place point. But what I'm trying to say is every single one of you is capable, and you can be anyone. Like, any single one of you. Like, you do not have to be super serious to be world class, right? Like, in terms of personality, you can be serious in effort. You must be serious in effort, but you do not have to be serious in personality. You don't have to be a hard ass who's like, oh, I'm on the grind, look at me, oh, life is pain. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. I'm so tired. Like, that's the one thing I consistently disagree with, and I'll tell you this right now, right? I really don't believe in the whole, like, and like, I know some people on our channel have called me the gym bro, and like, I'm a grinder and all that shit, like the gym bro of artists, and I'm such a grinder. But guys, like, it's not that deep, it's not that serious. I simply just keep trying as often as I can. Like, it's serious to me. Like, yes, it is extremely serious as a passion, as something that I'm pursuing in terms of greatness and all that shit. But I am not that serious of a person. I am serious in effort, right? I am very serious in effort, right? I'm serious in everything I do, and I put all my effort into it because I've learned how to learn, right? But I'm not someone that is consistently staring at a fucking wall mumbling about my demons. Right? Like, I'm not that guy, okay? And none of us have to be that guy or girl either. Like, you don't, it's about, what is it, like Jim Rohn says, you must be serious, but that does not mean you have to be grim, right? And that is such a beautiful distinction to be made. And by the way, like, I'm still trying to think about the diagonal cross sections and the center planes and all that shit. But yeah, like, there's a beautiful saying in my opinion, like, you must be serious, right? If you want to take your life seriously, you must take yourself seriously, but that does not mean you have to be grim. You can be lighthearted, but when it's time to get to task, right? Get to the task. You take the effort seriously, you respect the task, you respect the craft the task involves. Okay, I only have my examples to give, but whether it's coding, whether it's fucking, you know, but whether it's coding, whether it's playing piano, right? Whether it's working out, whether it's drawing, right? Draftsmanship, like, I am putting in as much effort as I can in the moment and resting in between, of course, right? But I am not so up my own ass that I think that I am the like God's gift and like this is like my fucking origin story, whatever. These are nice narratives to have. Don't get me wrong. These are very nice narratives to have, right? Like, it's okay to, I think it's like, I think it's great. I think it makes sense to have narratives, but I don't think you need to be a hard ass about it, right? Like, life is difficult. Of course, you'll have moments where you're like, this is the story I will one day tell, a la Alex Hormozy, right? Like, this is my origin story. Like, I'm going ghost, Danny Phantom, but you know, you're just ghosting everybody and you're going sicko mode, as the youngins say. Actually, I don't think it's sicko mode. I think you're just going monk mode. What the fuck it is, right? Like, sure, that's all fine, but at the end of the day, you really don't have to be such a serious, grim individual to be a serious applier, right, of effort. And by the way, like, I'm fucking, my brain is like so tired because I'm literally talking about something completely unrelated while trying to calculate all this shit in my mind. And hopefully you can see me through the ghosting that I'm doing, like that. I'm really struggling, right? But I'm trying to see all of this, and now we just get the ellipses, right? We just got to get the ellipses. And this is the struggle, right? Because I'm trying to get to the center point, and then this is curved in like so. Yeah, there you go. Curved in like so. Maybe it's, see, because what I'm really struggling with is like, this is basically the horizontal ellipse, right? And like, let's say this is the center point, this is the center point. Again, I still struggle with this, especially on a larger scale. It's like, what is the curve, right? Is it like this, right? Or is it even more so, right? I think it's like this. So we have to really think about that, right? And this is so this is this center point, this invisible one roughly, right? And then this is the visible, this one. So I have to think like, okay, it's something like this, right? And I don't know if it is, but I hold it and then I try to bring it here to this center point, right? Like as smooth as I can, right? Not to curve it too much. And then I hold that to the best of my ability. And then these two are reflected. So something like right there. And then that, and then again, that's like, I gotta make sure this is more of a smooth line because it's a very thin, or it's a very narrow plane, right? And so like that is roughly where my edges of my horizontal ellipses. And then I got this vertical one, which I can see pretty clearly, and then I got this other vertical one, which I can see pretty clearly, right? And then we got my sphere, which I gotta hold in my mind to the best of my ability, right? And you can see like even my sphere, what I'm doing is like I'm not really accurately ghosting it, so I do need to take a step back and to try to see everything at the same time while I do ghost it. And I'm getting there. Like I'm actually getting there. Like I'm actually starting to see all the glimpses, about like 20%, say 20 to 15 to 20% of the ellipses while I ghost this. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. It's been 59 minutes. Okay, basically at the hour mark. And now we're just gonna draw the face, and I'm gonna get the good pen back out. And yeah. As always, it's like these sessions are me fucking being like, oh, I can't see anything, and then and then being like, oh, but every single one of you are capable, and then bitching about beginners. I don't know if I bitched about beginners this time. I think I just bitched in general, right? But let me rest my brain. I wholeheartedly encourage you to do the same as well. All right, now comes the actual difficult part, because now it's actually time to draw the person, this woman, in and of itself, right? So this is incredibly difficult. Why? Because now I have to draw three-dimensional features, right? Three-dimensional forms while visualizing to the best of my ability the entire schema, right? Let me say that again. I have to draw three-dimensional features, three-dimensional forms while visualizing this entire schema to the best of my ability. And that involves also understanding proportion, right? Which is incredibly difficult when your mind is preoccupied between going back and forth between the reference, the visualization of the schema of the 3D model that you're holding, as well as keeping the proportions accurate, right? So that is like dozens of fucking mental calculations, which are all extremely difficult. And honestly, like I have nothing else to say right now. Like I can barely think. But also, like again, the nose, like trying to keep the proportion of her nose accurate, trying to make sure that I understand the depth of it as well, like where it's actually jutting out, right? Making sure that I actually get where the relation between the top of her eyebrow and the bottom, like this edge of the nose, which is pretty sure it's inaccurate, right? Making sure my lines are clean as well, because that's also extremely important to make sure my lines are clean. I already don't like see anything, but then like and you know, recognition of the error, right? But recognizing that I don't see anything, and then going back and trying to see while applying. It's extremely difficult to see while applying. Let me say that again. It's extremely, for me, and I cannot, I'm telling you right now, I'm trying, but I literally cannot see at all, like through the box, anything. And now that I mentioned it, I'm like, oh shit, I should try to see through the box. But Am I actually capable currently? No, I am not currently. And these are the beautiful words you have to keep reminding yourself is currently capable. Okay? I'm not currently capable, right? Even that line in of itself should have had more nuance, right? Nuance, we want some more nuance. But right, and that's incorrect too, like that little thing I made there. But either way, we'll just allow it. Right, she has lashes, like so. Right, and we don't see the lashes here. Maybe we do. I just added it for shits. But either way, and I'm again like it's and the reason it's I cannot see. I want to be very clear. The reason I can't see is because drawing these very minute, drawing these small features while trying to zoom out, right, and see the box, and I'm trying that right now. I'm trying to zoom out, I'm trying to fill in her eye, right, and make sure my motor skills are still fine-tuned to filling in this eye, while at the same time zooming out and seeing a box and seeing diagonal cross sections, which I couldn't do, by the way. I couldn't do that at all. But trying to do that is incredibly cognitively taxing. That is multiple items being held in my mind at the same time, right? And again, like now I'm gonna look at her lips and I'm gonna try to figure out what the fuck is going on here with her lips, because I can't even, like, I'm like zooming in, I'm literally like leaning my head forward because I don't know what the fuck's going on there, right? And then I'm trying to obviously like figure out the proportions, right? This is all incredibly difficult. Did she get a lip job? Can't tell. It looks a bit fake, right? I'll have to complain to her casting director, be like, bro, what are you doing? Right? We are here for a very specific reason, and you're fucking up that reason. I don't know where this joke is going. I thought I could make it come back around, but I'll show you a comeback. But anyways, trying to really keep the proportions. I'm trying to, like, the thing is, I'm also trying to understand the form of these lips as well. And that was a mistake. That line I made was a mistake, but somehow we managed to save it. Somehow we did manage to save it. And again, I'm trying to really keep in mind. And now, like, I really have to take... Hold up. Now I really have to take a step back. Oh, see, her OG curve, because I know what that is. But her OG curve is way too pronounced. And the line work is very, very mid. Right, like this could have been a lot better. But either way, it's what it is, right? What's done is done. But, and it's okay, like, that's a good thing. Like, I always feel good about these mistakes that I make, right? But now I have to, like, again, I have to take a step back and think about the ellipse, where that is, and then the, like, the ear. And the ear should roughly be right. The top of the ear should roughly be right around here. Like that, right? Because it is this ellipse, and then this vertical ellipse, this horizontal ellipse, and then it's in that little 1/4 pocket. So for example, this, and then this, right? It's right around here somewhere. Let me show you that again. Like, if it's a side view, this is where the ear is, right? So, and then I'm going to, again, I'm still trying to think about the form, but I'm trying to connect these as well as I can. Oh shit. To the best of my ability. And again, like, I couldn't even see where this chin ended, right? So that was very difficult. And then, you know, just some half-assed little indication right there. But that was pretty decent. That was pretty decent. Decent? What the fuck? Decent? That was decent, all things considered. Right? But now, yeah, my brain is fried. Like, again, I couldn't think of anything there. But this, I think I'm getting better. Surprisingly, I believe consistent practice and effort has resulted in compound growth, right? Emphasis on the pound, because I am pounding my fucking brain with effort, right? There was no dirty joke there. It was purely just, I guess, masturbatory to myself, right? Haha, look at Biggie. He's always saying that he's doing so good. It's true. I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I am the map. I am the map. Anybody remember that? But yeah, and then, by the way, like, what I'm drawing now is literally what I try to visualize. And let's fucking this page. I don't know why my page always end up. And again, like, this is a skill that I'm practicing right now, which is not looking at the other point while drawing the line. This is what I've been practicing with my Challenge 52 videos, and like literally every other video, but especially Challenge 52, right? Is not ghosting. What the fuck, English? Just needing to look at the top corner and then understand. Because this builds my intuition too. When like looking here and not doing my best not to look there and just making the mark, right? Like that and connecting it properly. And already I've gotten a lot better with these smaller boxes because I've been practicing with such larger boxes, right? Like that was off. You see how that's off by a millimeter, right? Or probably 2 millimeters. And then this diagonal cross section, right? And these other lines always fuck me up too, so I gotta make sure to ignore those. Right, this diagonal cross section, see that was off by a millimeter right there, right? This visible one, right, to the best of my ability. And it's hard, like it's extremely uncomfortable. Like this reminds me of when I first started drawing and committing to that line, like just continuing to go like this. See, that was off too, but continuing to go like this while being completely unsure whether you're gonna hit it or not is like a fucking heart attack when you're just starting to draw, bro. Like, and I went through that heart attack for months at a time, so I get it. But it is like genuinely very anxiety inducing. But if I had the mindset then that I had now, which is just, bro, just focus on the effort, it would have been a much more enjoyable time, right? But the only thing that made it enjoyable back then was completely believing in the process, right? Believing in the process of the fundamentals, which now I'm like a dick rider for, right? Like I believe even more wholeheartedly because look, see, like that was completely off. That was off center. Because look where it's gotten me, right? You couldn't handle your failures. What did that touch you back to me? Right? So either way, and then we gotta get the horizontal one. And this is where obviously, this is where things get confusing. Where the fuck am I? Oh, I'm here. Shit. See, I couldn't even see the goddamn the center properly, but see, this is what I'm literally trying to visualize, by the way. Like this is what I am spending intense amounts of mental master calculation on, right? And even like then, even now, there's some weird things going on with how I'm connecting it, which isn't really working out, probably because I'm not connecting it properly. Wow, what a fucking shock. There's some weird things going on with connecting it. I think it's because I'm not connecting it correctly. What an incredible statement, Viggy, right? People should have you give a sermon. I don't know why I said sermon. I think it's because I just know of the word sermon, right? And I believe it's something people give, so I can give one. I'm sure me in all my glory, right? I'd be like, the Lord has bestowed upon you fundamentals. Get to practicing, and they'd be like, who the fuck is this shit skin? Who allowed him into our what abode? And then somebody else would be like, why are you talking like that? We're actually pretty diverse. You know, there's people of all races, genders, ethnicities, right? Orientations, right? That person's upside down. Like that is quite the orientation. So not only would they kick me out, they would kick out the racist as well. And it'd be good. It'd be a great coom-worthy practice session. Practice session, what the fuck am I saying? Sermon. My brain is still on the practice session. Okay, so now we connect like so, and then we get this somewhere around there, and then we connect this as well. See, I still struggle with my ellipses, but you see how me taking my time is actually helping quite a bit compared to this bullshit that I pulled. This is still off. You can see this is still a bit off, but there you go. That's a bit better. And then this horizontal one, right? And I'm still using my brain quite a bit here. Like I'm still using it quite a bit because I'm trying to get to the center. And again, like the edges, I have to do this very organically. So I should probably just continue the, oh, see, that was wrong. Continue the line. And that was great. Like I really fucked that one up. And I'm still struggling with these mathematically, geometrically, spatially reasoned ellipses, right? And then same thing here. I don't know why I keep saying here like this, right? Here, you fucking dickhead. It's here, not here, but oh, see, that was completely wrong. Let's just connect it like so. Something like that. Fucking ass tier. But you see, I can laugh. You can laugh at yourself. It's good to be like, ha ha ha, I'm so bad. Because then when you go and you rest, you can cry, right? But this is, again, I'm going to try to do this in one fell swoop and zoom out and try to really ensure that I'm actually connecting all of these as a perfect, see, that was wrong too. You see how it's getting all angular, but I'm trying to connect it as well as I can. and that's not bad. It is a bit too wide as a sphere for sure, like it's 100% too wide, and that's again because I could be wrong in how I'm making it, but it's okay. It's okay. But this is again the mental model. This is usually reflective of the box itself having some problems. But either way, that's the practice session, right? My brain is fucking fried. Look at that. We cut off 7 minutes of time in general with the practice session, because usually I'm at hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15, hour and 20, right? But I'm getting more effective at visualizing, practicing, and this depth will lead way into the Challenge 52 next session, everything. Like it's beautiful how it all leads into itself. So obviously, like I think at the 10-year mark, where I will be pretty fucking proficient, I wanna make a video like really detailing every skill and like what it takes. And I don't know, there's so many things I could talk about at this point because I'm relatively skilled enough to break it down, but I don't think I'm skilled enough to genuinely have my word have meaning. Like that's why, again, once the figures are as the youngins say, cracked, right? Once the figures, portraits, right, and yeah, figures, portraits, and hands are fucking incredible over the next like 300-400 hours each, right? So over like the next 5 to 8 years. And then when I make a video, basically that'll be something like an imaginative scene, but it'll be with actually proper, like well-constructed things, good drawings, right? Not that good drawings will be the goal, but when that will be my skill level, I think definitely I'm gonna make a video being like, hey, here's how every single human being on the planet can achieve this. Granted that they put in the effort and they believe that they can do it, right? And utilize neuroscience, and that will give me all the subscribers. I mean, that will encourage a lot of people. That'll be great. Anyways, my bullshit aside, as always, I hope you tried your best. I genuinely hope you just tried your best. Just keep going. My brain is like, I literally have a slight headache, right? Like it's like the fucking learning headache. So what do? You're gonna rest your fucking brain for 15 minutes, no phone, no stimulation. I'm telling you, you do that shit, you're literally interfering with the session. So fucking just for 10-15 minutes minimum, just lie down. Don't even go for a walk. Just lie down. Be in a silent area. All right, as to the best as you can. Just lie down and rest your brain. White noise is fine. I have my fan running, so actually, like, white noise is actually pretty good, right? But be exactly like me. But anyways, as always, I hope you tried your best. And with that being said, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please, give me my love.